Mercury's moving into Aries this week, and there's a new moon in Aries just ahead. The cleanest slate energy of the entire year. New information, fresh starts. The impulse to finally get your financial house in order and understand how this whole money thing is actually supposed to work. But here's what I want to say before you go downloading another finance course or picking up another money book. The problem might not be your motivation. It might be the delivery. I grew up inside a very specific financial model. My dad was a tax preparer and he was good at it, genuinely skilled, deeply proud of what he built, and generous enough to bring me in and try to pass it on. The model he gave me was the seasonal windfall. Tax season came, money came in, and that influx was designed to cover everything, including the taxes I hadn't set aside for myself throughout the year, the credit card balances that had crept up, the things that needed handling. It almost worked. Every year, it almost worked. And because it almost worked, I kept telling myself it was fine. Don't look too closely. Don't ask too many questions. Tax season is coming. Just wait. What I didn't see at the time was that I had absorbed not just a financial system, but a way of relating to money, reactive, seasonal, held together by the reassurance that a big deposit was always around the corner. It wasn't a money literacy problem. I understood the mechanics. The information I'd been given had simply shaped me into someone who waited for money to arrive and responded to it rather than someone who actively led it. It wasn't until I started doing it differently, building something that felt more intentional, more continuous, more like an actual relationship with money rather than a recurring scramble, that I realized financial information lands based on how it's framed. And the frame I'd inherited had kept things reactive by design, even with the best of intentions behind it. That's the learning code in action. Or more accurately, that's what it looks like when your financial education has been delivered in a format that was never built for how you actually process the world. In cosmic currency, the learning code is rooted in your Mercury placement, the planet that governs how your mind absorbs, integrates, and retains new information. And it turns out this is one of the most impactful codes in the entire system because it's not just about how you learn in general, it's specifically about how financial concepts need to be framed for them to actually land in your body rather than just passing through your brain and dissolving. I worked with a client. She comes from a teaching background, actually spent years in instructional design, who came into cosmic currency feeling like she'd been failing at financial literacy for most of her adult life. She'd tried to engage with the material, the terms, the reports, the tracking systems, but it consistently created this glazed over sensation like her brain just refused to hold it. Her learning code came through as Mercury in Cancer in the fourth house, what we named her intuitive absorber. She doesn't process financial information through data tables and abstract vocabulary. She processes through feeling, personal relevance, and emotional resonance. Concepts need to connect to something that matters to her before they'll stick. When financial information was presented as dry mechanics, her nervous system rejected it, not because she was bad at money, but because the delivery was fundamentally mismatched to her wiring. When we shifted how the material was framed through story, through personal connection, through what the numbers actually meant for her life and her sense of safety, everything changed. She went from dreading her finances to genuinely looking forward to the ritual of engaging with them. Same information, different delivery, completely different result. This is the thing most financial education never accounts for. You weren't bad at the subject. You were being taught in someone else's language by someone using their learning code as the default. And when your brain doesn't receive information that way, it's easy to conclude that you're the problem. You're not the problem. You just haven't had financial guidance that was built for your Mercury. The new moon in Aries is inviting you to begin something. If that something involves money, make sure you're starting with the right foundation. Not more information, but the right delivery for how you actually receive it. And if you want to understand where you currently stand in your relationship with money, whether you're avoiding it, white knuckling your spreadsheets, swinging between obsession and total checked outness, or building something that's genuinely starting to hold, the Cosmic Money Style Quiz will name that for you clearly. Your money attachment style is always the most honest starting point. Take it at cosmicb.link